You click a link. The page looks exactly like the Washington Post. Same layout, same logo, same style. Except it isn't real, and there are hundreds more just like it. This is the story of a real, ongoing operation researchers named Doppelganger. Since 2022, someone has been building near-perfect clones of major news outlets, Der Spiegel, Le Parisien, Fox News, and the Washington Post among them. Same fonts, same branding, even real article links mixed in with fake ones. Investigators have identified several hundred domains and websites tied to this single network, and that number keeps climbing. Here's how convincing these sites actually are. According to a US Department of Justice affidavit, one fake domain built to mimic the Washington Post was described as a near-identical duplication of the real site, matching its graphic style and even linking out to genuine Washington Post articles. This wasn't one person with a grudge and a weekend to spare. Researchers eventually traced the campaign to a Russian IT company called the Social Design Agency, working alongside a second firm known as Structura. Their apparent goal: undermining Western support for Ukraine and pushing the Kremlin's narrative into audiences who'd never suspect the source. So, why go through the trouble of impersonating specific real newsrooms instead of just building generic fake news sites? We'll get to that. The scale of this goes far beyond a handful of cloned homepages. In one wave alone, the US Department of Justice identified 32 fake domains, leased through American companies, mimicking major outlets across Germany, Italy, Ukraine, Estonia, and France. Payments for those domains were reportedly made using cryptocurrency, tied to wallets linked to Russia and registered through encrypted email addresses, specifically designed to make tracing the people behind it as difficult as possible. The full toolkit goes even further: hundreds of thousands of fake social media accounts, dozens of forged media clones, and entire fake news portals working together. In just one 6-week window, one government body identified over 50,000 fake accounts, posting more than 1.8 million automated messages in a single language alone. It's infrastructure, built to make you believe something false is coming from a source you already trust. Here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. This has been going on for over 3 years. The operation was first exposed by researchers in September 2022. Since then, governments have sanctioned the companies behind it. The US has seized domains. Tech platforms have banned accounts by the thousands, and it kept adapting anyway. As recently as late 2025, researchers documented over 200 new fake news sites specifically targeting France ahead of its 2026 elections, with more than 140 of them built to imitate real, well-known French outlets. One fake site even fabricated a story about a French mayor's resignation, quietly inserting praise for a foreign head of state into an otherwise real news event. Every time investigators expose part of the network, another part reportedly grows back somewhere else. So why clone real newsrooms specifically instead of building something from scratch? Because trust is the entire product. The tactic here has consistently focused on impersonation, not just news outlets, but even government bodies, including a fake version of France's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Germany's Interior Ministry. If a headline shows up wrapped in a familiar logo, most people don't stop to check the domain name in the address bar. The attribution here is about as solid as this kind of investigation gets. The US Treasury has formally designated the Social Design Agency and Structura National Technologies as the entities behind the campaign, alongside 10 individuals sanctioned for their role in it. But knowing who's responsible hasn't been the same as stopping them. Investigators have found the campaign's digital footprints leading directly back toward Russia's Ministry of Defense, while the operation itself simply keeps shifting hosting providers, domain registrars, and target countries whenever one avenue gets shut down. One investigation did manage to significantly disrupt the network by pressuring a hosting provider into cutting off service. Proof it can be slowed, just never fully stopped. Here's the uncomfortable answer. Researchers acknowledge that measuring the true impact of a disinformation campaign like this is genuinely difficult. But one survey in France found that 2/3 of respondents believed at least one piece of fake news they were shown, not because the fake sites were flawless, because most people were never trained to check. Right now, somewhere, a new fake domain is probably being registered, built to look exactly like a newsroom you already trust, waiting for someone to click, read, and share without ever glancing at the address bar.